The night guard said later that it wasn't the silence that unsettled him, but the sound that broke it. Down in the station's lower level, long after the last passengers had gone, the air hung heavy with the smell of metal and rain-soaked concrete. Then, a single metallic tap echoed through the concourse. He froze, light beam steady on the tunnel mouth. The sound repeated, deliberate, like the lock of a gate closing. When he reached the barrier, the latch moved on its own. Half-inch motion, no wind. The steel vibrated under his glove, as if touched by another hand. By the time he radioed upstairs, the sound had vanished. That night became the first entry in a log that would stretch for months, filled with faint echoes, unexplained drafts, and the recurring click of gates that should have been still. Dongdaemun is not just a name, it's a junction of centuries. The Great East Gate once guarded the walled city of Old Seoul, its wooden beams scorched and restored through wars, fires, and rebuildings. Beneath its shadow sprawls a district that never truly sleeps. Markets that trade until dawn, vendors frying food under neon lamps, and subways that carry the pulse of millions. When the modern underground lines were bored through this terrain, engineers found fragments of the past, stone ramparts, pottery, even bones, quietly folded into the soil. They sealed the remnants behind reinforced walls and built over them. Decades later, the station hums with fluorescent light and electric buzz, but traces of the buried city linger underneath. The Dongdaemun Station complex forms a labyrinth of corridors linking shopping arcades, ventilation shafts, and staff tunnels. Most commuters see only the polished surface: tiled floors, ticket barriers, timed escalators, and endless overhead announcements. Yet behind each maintenance door lies a different soul, a mechanical city of steel grates, dripping pipes, and echoing storage halls where footsteps can sound like whispers. Workers say the place has moods. On rainy nights, the air carries a scent like rusted coins. On windless mornings, one can hear a low hum as though the tunnels themselves breathe. It's these in-between spaces, too old for comfort, too new for reverence, that draw both fascination and unease. For years, the station ran without issue. Then came a string of incidents small enough to overlook, yet too consistent to ignore. The first was logged by Mr. Park, a veteran night guard. During a quiet shift near the east platform, he heard a metallic click echoing from the locked service gate at the far end. He thought it was pressure from the ventilation ducts, but the noise returned. 3 steady clicks, pause, one louder than the rest. When he checked the gate, the latch was unfastened. He locked it again, stepped back, and heard it slide open behind him. Security footage showed only the gate trembling, no visible hand or draft. Park's supervisor filed it as equipment vibration. 2 nights later, the same sound woke the cleaning staff in the adjoining corridor. Another guard, Ms. Han, patrolled the West Concourse weeks afterward. She described hearing the identical click, metal on metal, followed by the faint shift of an iron gate hinge. "I thought someone was testing locks," she recalled, but the sound was inside the walls. She traced it down the maintenance steps, flashlight trembling. The clicking stopped. Then came a sharper clang, as if a gate slammed from deep inside the tunnel. Her radio cut to static. She said the echo rolled back toward her, carrying something else, a breath, or what felt like one. The phenomena escalated after midnight patrols were cut to a single guard. One April night, Park was alone on duty, walking the lower passage where the disused freight elevator stands sealed behind a steel fence. The passage smelled faintly of oil. He stopped when the sound began again. Methodical, measured, like someone testing locks down the corridor. His flashlight beam wavered across the gate's mesh. The latch lifted and fell on its own, slow, deliberate. Park whispered into the radio, "Control, someone's in the lower hall." But no reply came. When he turned back, the gate was ajar by several inches. Beyond it lay blackness so complete, the beam seemed to die inside. He stepped backward, heart hammering. The latch slammed shut with a violence that rattled the bolts. Later, he found faint scratches on the metal, as though from fingernails dragging downward. Rumors spread quietly among staff. A repair worker swore he heard the same click from inside the breaker room, though all gates there were electric. A janitor claimed to have seen a woman in pale clothing standing near a locked storage cage. She vanished when he looked twice. The radio logs show bursts of static around 2:15 a.m., often coinciding with minor power dips. Control called them random surges. But one technician, Mr. Cho, reviewed an internal feed and noticed that every time the static peaked, the frame froze on the east platform gate. Its latch caught mid-movement, halfway between locked and open. Not long after, a clerk named Ms. Lee reported hearing rhythmic clicking behind her counter, though no gate stood nearby. "It sounded like metal teeth snapping," she said. "Slow at first, then faster, until it stopped suddenly. The air turned cold, like before a train arrives." When she left the booth, she saw condensation on the ticket barrier glass, shaped like a handprint. She wiped it away, but her skin felt chilled for hours. By summer, the stories reached the district office. Officials ordered a full inspection. Engineers found no structural faults, yet they noted unusual resonance levels in one sealed corridor. The sound, they said, could be amplified vibrations from passing trains. They reinforced the hinges, recalibrated sensors, and replaced cameras. For a week, the noises ceased. Then, one humid night, the clicking returned, this time louder, traveling through the ventilation shaft like footsteps of metal on stone. That night's logbook entry reads simply, "Repeated gate clicks from sealed tunnel. Source indeterminate. Air pressure stable." Beneath it, someone penciled a small question mark. The handwriting is tense, letters pressed too deep into the page. The next entry adds, "Power fluctuation. Corridor lights dimmed. Heard female voice? Unclear." A few nights later came the only direct sighting. Park and Han were patrolling together near the freight corridor when they heard the unmistakable snap of the old gate. They turned and saw, past the mesh, a woman crouched low as though repairing something. Her hair was long, head bowed. Park called out. The woman didn't move. The clicking resumed, but neither gate nor lock appeared to shift. Then she lifted her head. Her eyes reflected the flashlight not as pupils, but as dull metal, like the latch itself. The radio burst into white noise. When Park blinked, the figure was gone, leaving only the sound of metal cooling. The steel gate stood perfectly shut. Witnesses differ on what happened next. Some say Park fell ill soon after, developing a persistent ringing in his ears. Others say he refused to work underground again. Ms. Han transferred to another station. Maintenance crews replaced the gate entirely, yet even the new hinges developed the same faint rhythmic click after dark. More voices emerged. A conductor passing through during last train reported seeing the platform doors open slightly as his train departed, though they were automated and locked. "I heard the gate close after me," he said, like someone unseen was leaving too. A cafe owner near exit 6 swore she heard metallic knocks each dawn before unlocking, always 3 in sequence. "At first I thought it was the pipes," she said. "Then I realized it followed me up the stairs. The station's archived files include a memorandum marked confidential. Subject: recurring acoustic anomalies, East Concourse. It references audible latch sequence consistent with metallic gate under varying barometric conditions. Engineers recorded the sounds on handheld devices. The waveform showed intervals too precise for random vibration. When they tried to reproduce it, the equipment malfunctioned. Later, a single page circulated among staff. Temporary closure of corridor F for safety inspection. In smaller type, a note: access by authorized personnel only. Locks have been reconfigured. Off record, guards claimed the locks changed themselves overnight. Cultural context quickly filled the gap where evidence ended. Local elders said the station sat near the trace of an old gate destroyed during expansion. Once the entrance to a workshop where blacksmiths labored through nights forging hinges for city gates. During wartime bombings, many took shelter there and never emerged. Some claimed the new tunnels cut through their resting ground. Shamans spoke of Han, the heavy sorrow of lives interrupted, and suggested a gut ceremony might release the spirit. A mudang named Mother Shin was invited quietly one dawn. She arrived in plain clothes, carrying bells and folded paper charms. Witnesses say that as she began chanting, a metallic rattle echoed from the closed corridor. The lights flickered. She whispered, "There's something that doesn't know it's been buried twice." When she left, she placed a small iron key on the gate and told guards never to remove it. For a month afterward, the clicking stopped. Then, late in the season, an electrical failure shut down power to part of the station. During repairs, the key vanished. The same night, cameras caught a brief flash, like a reflection sweeping across the gate. The clicking resumed, faint but steady, every 30 minutes on the mark. Some employees interpreted the phenomenon as an echo of the past. "Maybe it's the gate remembering it was opened," said one technician. Others considered more rational explanations: thermal expansion of metal, oscillation from underground airflow, the resonance of steel beams aligned with the city's tram vibrations. Acoustic engineers modeled the frequency and concluded it could be a recurring percussive anomaly due to intersecting pressure nodes. Yet even they admitted the rhythm's precision defied coincidence. Skeptics invoked fatigue and suggestibility. Long night shifts, fluorescent flicker, and isolation can alter perception. When expectation meets noise, a ghost is born. Still, no explanation accounted for the smell that sometimes accompanied the sound. A faint, burnt oil scent, like machinery left running. Nor did it explain why security dogs refused to pass the corridor, halting before the gate and whining. Thermal cameras picked up brief cold spots, shaped vaguely human, which technicians attributed to air pockets. But the pattern repeated too consistently. The clicks always began nearest the old freight gate and moved outward as though something paced the perimeter. Months later, a new construction project began nearby. Workers excavating above the station uncovered fragments of an older iron gate embedded in the earth, warped and blackened. The discovery was minor, soon catalogued and removed, but some guards noted the noises intensified immediately afterward. During that week, commuters reported feeling vibrations through the platform floor as trains approached, subtle but rhythmic. Matching the sequence known to staff. The official incident report closes with technical language. Acoustic disturbances mitigated following hinge reinforcement and installation of vibration dampers. Yet off record, one maintenance chief admitted the Sound persisted faintly even after the gate was replaced with composite material. Steel or not, he said, something keeps knocking. In the months that followed, the station adapted to its reputation. The lower corridor remains closed to the public, its entrance disguised by storage racks. Guards still patrol in pairs. Near one corner, a small frame note hangs discreetly behind glass. For those who worked here before the light came, rest easy. Each year, on the day of the last power outage, someone leaves a single iron key on the gate handle. No one admits to placing it there. Sometimes, said Ms. Lee, I hear that click from my booth, only once or twice a night. I just whisper, all done for today, and it stops. The gesture became informal ritual, a way to acknowledge without fear. Trains continue to pass, crowds rush through, and the metal of Dongdaemun endures both history and haunting. The district above has changed again. Glass towers gleam where markets once sprawled. Few remember the night guards who spoke of gates that moved on their own, or the shaman who warned that something beneath the city was still working. Yet even now, if you linger on the platform after the last announcement, you might hear it, a soft metallic click echoing from somewhere beyond the maintenance door. It might be the cooling of steel, or it might be memory repeating itself through iron. What endures in Dongdaemun is not terror, but a question. How much of a city remembers its buried layers, and how memory travels through metal and stone? For those who heard it, the click was not an omen, but a reminder that every door closed once belonged to someone's hands. If you pass through late at night, pause for a moment when the crowd thins and the air hums. Listen. The sound may come again, a precise, deliberate click, steady as breath. If it does, don't chase it. Step back, breathe, and leave the gate closed. Some doors, once opened, never truly shut. And if you've ever heard something similar in another quiet place, metal shifting when no wind blows, you might share it. Sometimes stories, like echoes, travel farther than their origins.